2019 for the City of Aztec normal City Commission meeting. Go ahead and call the meeting to order. Commissioner Randall is going to do the invocation, and I'll lead us in the pledges tonight. So please stand.
Please pray with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this wonderful day, Lord, and this wonderful time of year here in our fine city. And pray you continue to shower blessings upon us and look over us and our citizens. Pray you be with us tonight as we make decisions on behalf of the City of Aztec, and be with us and help us to do the best we can, Lord, for the greater good of our city. Continue to bless us and be with us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute the flag of the State of New Mexico and the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. Carla, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Stover?
Here.
Mayor Garcetti?
Here.
Commissioner Sykes?
Here.
Commissioner Randall?
Here.
Commissioner Lewis?
Here.
All present.
Next is agenda approval. If there are any items that do not meet the approval for being heard on this evening's agenda, now is the time to remove those items. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda as given.
Mayor, I move to approve this evening's agenda as given.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next is our consent agenda. Items placed on the consent agenda will be voted upon with one motion. If any item proposed does not meet the approval of all commissioners, a commissioner may request that the item be heard under items from consent agenda. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda as given.
Mayor, I'd
Ma'am.
like to move to approve tonight's consent agenda as given.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Okay. We have a couple of presentations tonight. Aztec Spirit Award. Mr. Saavedra.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Commission. Typically, the Code Officer, Information Officer, Andrew D. Camillo, handles Spirit Awards, but due to personal circumstances, he's unable to make it, so I've been tapped with the duty. That being said, I've been well aware of both of these buildings and house, and one of them goes to Mr. Michael Atchison. This is at 705 Apache. I had the pleasure of actually visiting this house about a year ago. This house actually was forwarded to us by Aztec Police Department. So thank you and your staff for letting us know. Andrew had worked with Mr. Atchison tremendously and was able to take what that house was and to what that house is currently right now.
Awesome.
And for that, we're extremely grateful, and I'd like to go ahead and present this award to Mr. Atchison for his efforts to redevelop that piece of property and help beautify that neighborhood.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Well, thank you. We had a lot of fun doing that. It's a good project, and hopefully we can do another one maybe.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. That looks amazing.
Yes.
Man.
Looks like it took its toll on you, though.
But it's all good. Well, thank you guys a lot.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Opportunity.
They say it's not official, so we take a picture. Would you mind a picture? Sure. The plaque. The logo. Go ahead and do the honors. It's okay. And I will let Andrew know. that, he's extra. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, and one last award. This actually goes to our commercial properties. This is actually to Optic Eye Care, Dr. Ian Kristen. Again, and I know it's hard to see what it looks like with the illumination, but in 2009, that building was not so pretty. But as of 2019, I would highly encourage you to visit that building, visit that business. They've done a tremendous job. That's what it looks like currently. And I think inside is even more beautiful of what they're able to accomplish. So Dr. Kristen wasn't able to make it, but that said, we'll still go ahead and present this award to him. And we're really appreciative to both commercial businesses, residential, housing that's been redeveloped within Aztec.
Awesome. Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Major. Okay. Our next presentation for tonight is San Juan Mountains chapter of the American Truck Historical Society.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, that's me. I asked Harold and Beth Pippin to be here tonight, but they were unable to make it, so I told them I'd make the presentation for them. They just had their 15th annual Antique Truck Show in Aztec, September 20th and 21st, and they brought in a plaque to the City of Aztec Police, Electric, and Parks Departments in grateful appreciation of your generous sponsorship and support. So this is from the truck show to those respective departments, and they just wanted to extend their appreciation to you guys for what you did to help their event be successful.
Awesome.
Very good. Thanks, sir. You want us to take a picture with you?
No, I'll catch Harold and Beth at some point and take a picture with them.
I just want to make sure. Okay. Man, we are to item 8, citizens input. Carla, is there anybody? Okay. Thank you. Nolan Rhodes? Mr. Rhodes? Okay.
Wanted to share, do I just hand that to you? Oh, some information I wanted to share on paper. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, and maybe I should, I'm sorry, maybe I should be like, what are they doing? Mr. Rhodes, I think, has some, he wrote down that his topic is smart meters, AMI, like the grid concerns, so I guess he has some questions or concerns.
Yes, I actually learned a lot in that meeting before this, so it was a lot of good information about that I didn't know. But I put together my primary concerns about this, and below I put some of the sources that I got all of this information. So I just wanted to share those sources with you where I'm getting this information. But my 3 primary concerns about not just smart meters as they are now, but the fact that we're moving from an AMR to an AMI system, which is instead of driving by and you have a smart meter giving an active signal while that person's driving by, it sounds like this system is going to be transmitting 24 hours a day. Out of the information that I've found that these smart meters can transmit from 50,000 to 190,000 times per day, and that's in millisecond bursts. But what this causes is a radio frequency field that people are being bathed in their homes. And this is a very important safety concern, in my opinion, for people's health, because just like cigarettes, we found out years later, everyone was smoking, and we found out had a cumulative effect on people's health. From all of the doctors that I read and all of the research that I've learned, there is an invisible threat with electromagnetic radiation, especially when it's on us all day, all the time, 24/7. And the levels of this that the smart meters give off, from my research, said is up to 8 microwatts per centimeter squared. And some of the studies have shown that only at 0.05 microwatts per centimeter squared, children have been shown to have behavioral problems, memory, concentration problems. And so this is a lot. Even though they're in short microsecond bursts, it's a lot of power that's being transmitted. And so before we make a decision on moving to the system, I think taking health and safety really seriously, there have been no studies on the long-term effects of people being bathed in this EMF 24/7, and I think that it's important to put the brakes on and think about that before there's any information that we're able to some studies that we can refer to. Another concern I have is privacy and data aggregation. A lot of these big tech companies, they're using people's personal data and they're selling them. A lot of the research I found might have been from PG&E, I don't remember, but there have been some of these companies that are selling people's data that they're gathering from these smart meters that are transmitting 24/7. And I don't know if the company Tantalus is doing that, but I think it's definitely something we need to ask them about, their terms and conditions. What are you doing with this information? There's been also research that you can find out what type of appliances a person is using in their home based on the electricity load signature that it gives off. And if this data is part of the information that's being transmitted, it's a blatant violation of our Fourth Amendment right, because this is information about the inside of our home going out, and it definitely needs to be taken seriously. There's all kinds of profiles you could build on a household based on when they're using appliances, what time, when they're vacant, when they're sleeping, and just the unique signatures that some of these devices give off. And the security vulnerabilities, I was actually pleased to learn in this meeting about how the encryption changes when the signals go from device to device, which is really good. And that at the very bottom, I have a source here, but it was from 2010, and so it sounds like they've fixed a lot of those holes. I would just say that my main concern that still remains is putting all of this information of each residence in an accessible portal. There is still the potential for that getting hacked for security concerns. And so that's a lot of information and data and profiles to be in one place. So I definitely want to make sure we check everything in that regard as well. Just going over, I know I only have
Mr.
3
Rhodes,
minutes.
I apologize. Yeah, we're pushing 5.
Oh, okay.
So if you could just kind of tie it up very quickly, please.
Definitely. I just wanted to kind of go over these resources. The first one, it's a documentary. It's about an hour and 25 minutes long, and I recommend everyone watch it. It's an independent filmmaker, and they interviewed a lot of homeowners, a lot of doctors about this whole smart meter issue. A lot of the rest of these are reports from doctors, digest. So I just encourage you to please put the brakes on this, think about these primary concerns, and make a wise decision based on all of that.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Steve, I saw you taking some notes.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
We'll see what information we can find. I'll get Ken Delane and explore
Yeah. I'd like to, let me know what you find out. I'll look at this stuff a little bit too. Okay, well, thank you. And that's the only person for citizens input tonight. Our next agenda item is business item A, final adoption of ordinance 2019-495, an ordinance granting a franchise to Comcast Cablevision of New Mexico / Pennsylvania, Inc., to operate and maintain a cable system in the city of Aztec, New Mexico.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. This would be the final approval of the ordinance to approve this agreement, which we addressed 2 meetings ago. There have been no comments either for or against that I'm aware of at this point.
Okay. Go ahead and open up for any questions or discussion. I will take that as none. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion for business item A.
Mayor,
Ma'am?
I'd like to move to approve final adoption of ordinance 2019-495, an ordinance granting a franchise to Comcast Cable of New Mexico / Pennsylvania Incorporated to operate and maintain a cable system in the city of Aztec, New Mexico.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Carla, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Snover,
Aye?
Mayor Pro Tem Frye,
Aye.
Commissioner Sykes,
Aye.
Commissioner Randall,
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis,
Aye.
motion passes 5-0.
Okay. Thank you. We are at item 11, Commissioners, City Manager, and Department Head reports. Mr. Mueller?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to take the time to recognize all the veterans that we have working for the city. Veterans Day was yesterday, November 11th. Mr. Matthew Bedoni, Andrew Eckhoff, Joe Farron, Tony Mazzio, Troy Morse, William Oakes, Sean Smith, John Welch, and of course Mayor Victor Snover. Just want to thank you guys for your service. We appreciate what you did, and without that service, we probably would not be sitting here today. So appreciate you on Veterans Day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate you.
Thanksgiving potluck for the Employees Association is coming up soon. More details to follow. Also, Christmas party is tentatively scheduled for December 20th, and there will be more information forthcoming on that. Our Echo Food Drive, the last day for that tomorrow, or is tomorrow, wraps up at 6 o'clock. We'll make the food deliveries and stuff Thursday morning down to Echo Food Bank. So don't know what the totals look like, but we're hoping to keep Mr. Potato Head here in the city this year. And cash or food donations are welcome. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gobble?
Well, first of all, I want to introduce myself to everybody here. My name's Tyson Gobble. I'm the new city attorney, me and Mr. Murphy from Titus and Murphy. So welcome. Thank you, Commission, for being welcome. Mr. Mueller, the rest of the staff of City of Aztec has been awesome during this transition while we're getting our feet underneath us and getting our hands dirty with some of these new issues or some of the older issues that we've been dealing with. So thank you.
Welcome.
Commissioner Sipe?
Just a couple of things. I also wanted to say thank you to the veterans. I enjoyed the parade yesterday, and before the parade, I was privileged to attend a little second grade Veterans Day music program. So, and they sang all the patriotic songs, and then, is it Colonel Samples?
Mhm.
Colonel? He talked to the kids, which was really, really cool, the way he spoke to them. If you've never heard the Pledge of Allegiance said by a whole, like all the elementary kids and the parents that were in there, it was like totally out of unison, and but it was great. So I really enjoyed that. I think we have EDAB next week, right, Stephen? And so then I have, this next week I have Northwest Mexico Seniors Executive Meeting. I have MPO next week. Just want to remind you guys that Tuesday, the 19th, next Tuesday, we're having a special workshop with Mr. George Sharp about fracking and methane emissions.
Right.
So it'll start at 5:15, and that's all we're going to do is just that workshop and questions. So just wanted to remind you guys about that. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
5:15?
5:15.
Yeah. Yeah, here, 5:15.
Yeah, here. Mhm. And he'll have a presentation and everything, and then be able to answer questions. So I'm looking forward to that. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Lewis?
Well, I'd like to acknowledge my new fashion statement. Everyone wants me to put bling on it, but so far I have resisted the urge. But, so everything went well with my surgery. It's fine. I did also attend the Veterans Day Parade yesterday. It was yesterday, right?
It was.
That, and it was very impressive. I think the ROTC youth really did a fine job yesterday. And it was nice to see the code talkers acknowledged as well during the parade, and the salute to the unknown soldier. So it was very nice. It was well done. I think whoever put all that out together, thank you very much. I will be attending the Water Commission meeting tomorrow. It's at 2, is that right?
1:30.
1:30, thank you. 1:30 tomorrow afternoon. It's an odd time, that's why I didn't remember, with Mr. Mueller, I hope. And so we'll find out what's going on over there. I'll report on that when I get next time around.
All right. Commissioner Randall?
No report.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I attended the Energy Transition Act Committee meeting in place of Mayor Snover, and he's part of this committee to make decisions about the funds that have been approved by the legislature for about $70 million. The numbers kind of go back and forth on that, and this is money that will be used in San Juan County to assist the community as we adjust to the closure of the San Juan generating station. There were lots of interesting presentations. It was open to the public and an opportunity for public comment. Lots of questions to be answered about how those funds are going to be used. And many of the presentations on diversifying our economy in the area were of interest. And they talked about divisions of that money used for training people for new jobs that would be losing their positions at the plant and the coal mine. Discussions about regional economic development. Certain amounts of money will go to the Navajo tribe because they're talking about how to assist San Juan County, and so many of the employees in those places are Native Americans. And there was discussion about the rehabilitation that will take place once the mine is closed and the plant is closed, and that could actually take 6 to 10 years to do the rehabilitation of that area. So Mayor Snover will be acting with that committee to help make those decisions about how those funds can assist our area. That's all.
I appreciate you stepping in for me. Because, and what I want to talk about, and because I am a full-time school teacher, I can't always arrange my schedule. I do my best, but thankfully the Mayor Pro Tem was willing and able to sub for me. So I'm looking forward to the future gatherings of that and to learn more about it. And as it becomes, time to implement some of the decisions. But I want to just very briefly talk about Veterans Day yesterday. I appreciate all the well wishes, and it was nice to see the parade was even more well attended than I expected, considering it was a Monday, and a lot of places don't get the day off, including the high school. So maybe you could talk to your school board members, fix that in the future. But on a serious note, we have our day-to-day grind sometimes. We have our families that, sometimes are great, sometimes they're kind of a grind too, right? Our day-to-day work. And to see, and I get the same way. I spend every day with these kids. I have them, in little spurts for 45 minutes at a time. And you tend to sometimes pick out some of the negative things about them because, familiarity breeds contempt, as they say. And I'm as guilty as any of that. But yesterday, seeing those kids out there, some of them not in the right, uniform with their long hair and didn't shave or whatever, but to remind me that they're high school kids and they're doing stuff that most other high school kids aren't willing to do, and they're putting themselves out there, and it makes me feel very proud to be their instructor. They make it easy on me to do what I do, and yesterday was just kind of an opportunity to highlight, our community and for me, my students and my cadets. So thank you, everybody, for coming out. If I didn't see you, I apologize. Kind of tunnel visioned, on the students, but I appreciate everybody coming up. It was a great parade, and I guess we're coming up on Sparkles soon, so we'll be doing this again pretty soon in a few weeks. So thank you, everybody, for all your effort and for attending and everything you guys do for us every day, not just on Veterans Day. So thank you. That's all I have.
Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to say I was really impressed with your kids holding that dang heavy flag when they got stopped, because I was down by where you guys were stopped.
I wasn't
And we
even
didn't
sure
realize-
exactly what was going on.
Well,
I'm
we
like,
didn't know
yeah.
either on that end of the parade. We didn't know either that they were doing a thing for the code, like
Right.
a blessing for the code
Right.
talkers and doing all that stuff. So the people down at the other end, we were like, well, did a truck break down or what? But
Right, I
those
was
kids
kinda-
stood there holding that heavy flag for probably 5-10
Yeah,
minutes.
it's-
It was a long time.
And it was a
They
big,
did
it was,
good.
for
They
those who
did
didn't get
good.
to see it, it was it covered the entire.
It would
was-
take up this whole room.
It's an enormous flag.
It's nice.
pretty big.
Yeah,
It takes
yeah.
up both lanes of
But I was
traffic. Yeah, it
impressed
was
with
cool.
them.
Yeah, it's quite a visual, so,
Stand there.
yeah. Next would be department head reports. Does anybody have a report tonight?
Thank you and good evening. I just wanted to thank you in advance for the support for the Thanksgiving community dinner. The list of items to be donated is on the P drive under Senior Center. and then Thanksgiving dinner. There are still some items to be claimed, but once again, I do appreciate the support, and we're underway. So if you know of anyone who will be spending Thanksgiving at home and would like a meal delivered, please just let me know. Get as much contact information as you can, and would be glad to deliver them a meal. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to say, you'll see the holiday lighting going up, and when you see those guys, the Parks Department, my department, out there, just stop by and say thank you.
Yeah.
Those guys really do work hard, and they try to make it look really nice.
Yeah, it already is looking
Thank you, Ken.
good.
Okay, I think that's it. Move to adjourn. Thank you.
Second.